I ask for forgiveness, but never
What's
for
going on,
permission.
everybody? My name's Tyree White. I'm from Philadelphia, West Philadelphia to be exact. My mother's side was from West Philly. My father's side was from South Philly. And in my younger years, there was a custody battle that my father's side ended up winning. I found myself being raised by my father's grandmother. She was old-fashioned, so beatings was her thing. Yeah, beatings was her thing. I got beat a lot. And, that wasn't the house that I grew up in or the family that I grew up with. So, I just couldn't grow accustomed to it, or I never grew accustomed to it. I came home one day and I got a beating and I snapped. I was like, I'm done. This is it. Later that evening, I ran away. I ran away from my father's side to my mother's side of the family. And it felt good to be back. It felt good to be back with the people that I knew and my family and the people that I grew up with. And my family was happy for me to be back. My cousins were eager to introduce me to the family business. So, when I ran away from my father's side and I ran back to my mother's side, I found myself falling into this lifestyle of narcotics and street life. Our family was popular in the street culture. You ever see those movies like on Paid in Full when, everybody's out, the girls with the big bamboo earrings, the hustlers is out with the big old cell phones, the cars parked up, the system's booming, fire hydrants going, kids running down the street. Like, that was really our neighborhood, so growing up at that time, it was easy to get sucked in. I remember the first time I ever got arrested. I pretty much was already hustling for, my cousins, my older cousins, but I had finally got my own work and I was out on the block. I left for a minute and then when I came back, there wasn't nobody outside, nobody. And I thought I had it to myself, like I'm about to kill him, yeah? So I served one fiend, I served another fiend, and then out of nowhere, the cops, they run up on me and they rush me and they arrest me. I'm booked. I'm a juvenile. This is my first time ever being arrested. So, and since I'm a juvenile, my mother has to come and sign for me to get me out. She's upset. My aunt's disappointed. Everybody at the time was looking at me as I was smart. I was supposed to be the one that was supposed to do something with myself. So, my family, they was disappointed that I wasn't. I was falling into the same folds as my uncles and my little cousins. And then on top of it, I was lying to them about it. So they was upset with me. So for years, I went back and forth to prison, running the streets, acting a fool. And then later down the line, it slowed up. I hadn't been incarcerated for about 12, 13 years. So it wasn't so much so that I had changed my life, but it was more so I had started committing crimes that were, harder to detect, lower risk factor. For years, I pretty much was just getting away with things. I was still in the motorcycle clubs. We were still carrying weapons. I still had a criminal mindset. 2015, 2016, it all caught up to me. 2016, I had to turn myself in. And, I remember the first night back in the cell, hearing that door shut, knowing that I was no longer in control of my life. I couldn't get up and go anywhere if I wanted to, feeling like a caged animal. I just said to myself, like, this over. This is it. I'm done with this. I can't. I won't. I'm not. When my time was up, I got out and I had told myself in there what changes I was going to make. And back home in Philly, a lot of people know me as Frost BBM. I'm a rapper, an artist. For plenty of years growing up, even when I was in jail, everybody knew me as being a rapper. That's what I did. So I said to myself that when I got out, I was going to take it serious. I was going to invest in myself. So when I got out, one of the first things that I did to activate my change was I left Philadelphia and I moved to Chicago. I changed my environment, changed my settings. You know, I went out there and then I got a job as a bartender. You know, and things was going good. I was working. I was working downtown. I was doing shows. I was traveling out to California. I was doing music videos. I was doing photo shoots. You know, I was getting my buzz back. Things was going really well. And then boom, pandemic happened. Shut the whole world down. My grandfather, he used to have a friend that owned a movie theater at the bottom of 69th Street in Upper Darby where we grew up. And he used to let me and my cousins just run the movie theaters every weekend. We show up, all we had to have was a brown paper bag for the popcorn and he'd give us soda, and we could run from theater to theater and hang out there all day, every day. And you know, that's sincerely, honestly, that's where my love and my passion for film was born. I needed a game plan for quarantine for when the dust settled, you know, because I knew it would. And so I decided to go back to school. It's changed my life. I mean, honestly, I can say it saved my life. Since I've started school and since I've started filming and doing, you know, storytelling and creating content and shooting the music videos and everything that I do with my cameras, my quality of life has changed. You know, I feel more in control of my future. I get to spend more time with my children and my grandchildren. And, you know, I have a beautiful wife. I get to travel the world and just eat great food, meet interesting people. You know, and I just feel like I have to share this with people that come from similar backgrounds as myself. And even those that don't, that this is a way out. My biggest thing that I want to tell people is no just stands for next opportunity. Never give up. I don't care what mistakes you've made in the past. You can always turn that corner and hit the straightaway, and all that other stuff will be behind you. I owe it to my family for supporting me and always having my back, my wife especially, my children, my grandchildren. And then I owe it to myself because I've never stopped believing. And I still haven't. Once a shooter, always a shooter.